So I'd like to welcome you people to our session for today. We are reviewing some 2 questions. We want to see what we can learn from understanding questions, but also some technicality or some techniques. Yeah, so we want to learn something tonight. And you've got one question based on the concept of the balance scorecard, and another one based on the concept of value-based management. Yeah, so these are the modules. Remember the 5 modules? Remember the 5 modules that are on our course? This course has got 5 modules. I'm sure you remember those modules. So in this test, we dealt with those modules. Let's just list those models, 2 of which we'll be talking about. So when we want to extend performance, we want to broaden performance in the private sector, there are 5 models that we work with. There are 5 models that we work with. So these 5 models help us to broaden performance in the private sector. So the one which has been examined several times, of course, is the balance scorecard. Then you got the building block model. Then you got a performance pyramid. Okay, then you've got the activity-based management and the value-based management. So in test 2, what I did was to get people to spend a bit of time on these models. We did indicate what we are going to examine, that in our exam, we're going to focus on these on this area. So I looked around for—
Sorry, sir.
Yes, please.
I wanted to, you said the statement when you were giving an introduction. You said these modules, we use them to what? Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, to extend performance management and measurement in the private sector. Remember that the
Or measurement and management. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we want to go beyond the financial. We can't just have performance which is based on traditional financial analysis. We need models that can help us go beyond the financial and look at more strategic areas. So how do we extend our performance management beyond the traditional financial analysis? Well, it's by adopting these models. These models are going to broaden the measures. And that is why the question that normally comes is almost the same question when they have a model. How can these models help an organization improve their performance measurement and management? And overall, how do they help the organization to improve their performance? So when you look at these models, always think about how can they help an organization improve their performance measurement and management systems? How can they help us to have take a broad approach when it comes to performance? How can we have a broad approach? How does each one of these models help us in that area? Okay, and that's exactly what we'll be looking at tonight. Very, very interesting questions. Yeah, so now we are going to go into our questions for this evening. So we have a question here, a very nice one. Advise the CEO on how the use of the balance scorecard could improve the performance management system. Of SUP. Now, this question you can apply to any organization, even your own organization. What we are saying is that any organization can benefit if they adopted the balance scorecard. The question is how. So this you can apply to any organization, and you can apply on any of the other models. Which models? Those 4. The balance scorecard is here. The balance scorecard is here. We are saying any other models, this question can actually apply. Which other models? The performance pyramid, the building block, the activity-based management approach, the value-based management. So the point here, friends, is that you can ask a question: how can performance pyramid help to improve performance management at SUP? Building block, ABM and VBM. So you must be able to actually answer this question on different companies, different entities, and also using different models. But for this one, we just focus on the balance scorecard. Using the performance data given, evaluate the comments of the DLAND government that SUP's trends are overcrowded. What does the word evaluate mean here? Assess the problem SUP may encounter in selecting and interpreting performance measures when applying the balance scorecard to its performance management system. Free 8 marks. We expect that students should have done 8 out of 8 here. 3 marks here. 4 points all needed. Of course, well explained. So now the question is, let's look at the specifics. Advise you on how the use of balance scorecard could improve the performance management system of SUP. How do you answer this question? In answering this question, what we expect is a very brief explanation or introduction of the model. You introduce your model. So that's what we expect. So in your answer, you introduce the model. That's what we expect, an introduction. And for most of the models, if you're asked to explain how a particular model can help an organization improve their performance measurement and management, what do? Give a brief introduction. Don't go on and on, no. Just do a brief introduction for us. So you're going to tell us that a balance scorecard, the strategic performance management and measurement model, which was introduced by Kaplan and Norton, if you want. It's not necessary to mention these names. It's not necessary. What is necessary to tell us what it covers? That it has got 4 components. Tell us about the 4 components. Financial, which means looks at how we are faring in the eyes of the shareholders. Customer perspective, how are we faring in the eyes of the customers. Internal processes, how efficient are internal process. Innovation and learning, whether we're likely to create or how the company is likely to perform in the future. Future performance or the future of the organization. So these are this introduction that we need. Don't go on and on in the introduction. That would be wrong. If you write a long paragraph, it's a short paragraph, very much summarizing, but I call it introducing the model. If we're going to use something, we need to introduce it. So I'll simply say that the spirit of your discussion will be to introduce the model. Okay, good. So now, I take it that we have read through this, so we go straight into the question. How would the company benefit? You all know about the traditional advantages and disadvantages, but here advantages. What are the traditional advantages that we can quickly introduce? The company is going to benefit by introducing the balance scorecard. In what way? The model will help the organization to consider what? Number two, what else? What else? So you can cover this in a paragraph. Broadly, the company will benefit in that they are going to have measures which are internal and external, financial and non-financial, and the measures which are balanced and which will cover all the relevant areas of the organization. Financial now, how will they benefit from financial? How will they benefit? You look at what currently the company has. Currently, what does the company have? What indicator they have? Gross. So you tell them that currently the company only has gross. Should they introduce a balance scorecard, what are they going to look at? They're going to look at measures which are more relevant to who? Such as what? Giver. Just that is enough. Don't go on and on. Just tell us that in the area of financial performance, our company will now be able to go beyond the ROS, because under balance scorecard, we're looking at measures that are relevant to our shareholders. So that's the improvement. So this issue of taking short-term measures, because they are short-term in their thinking. They're looking at short-term, not looking in the future. That will be avoided. And this also is in line with the company has chosen the objective to do what? What is the objective of the company?
To increase wealth for shareholders.
Yes. Does the current performance measurement system help them with that?
No.
It doesn't. The danger is don't talk, don't go on and on writing. Just make one point and move. What of a customer perspective? What are they using currently?
Growth in number of passengers.
They're also very narrow. They're just using a what? a quantitative measure, growth number of customers. Growth number of customers is causing problems. Why? They are not aware of the complaints of the customers. They are not doing enough here. They don't have a good system. Because there was a complaint, the customers complained. But what did they say? Daniel,
The CEO was defensive.
what did he say?
He was saying that, let me see.
There's
Let me see
something
that.
that he said. Specifically, there's something that he said, which shows that the performance measurement system was inadequate. There's something.
He said something that they didn't complain, that one of the things was that, like for the cafe, they said, they mentioned something about the cafe, the food, that the same food for 5 years. He said nobody has complained. He mentioned something like, no, nobody has complained.
Yes.
And he also said something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, on the internet, I think he said that the number of people using internet on the train has increased.
Yeah.
He complained about the wireless, the service of the internet wireless, that is bad. So he now said that the number of people accessing the wireless has increased. That's why they're having such issues, service issues.
So look at this man. He says he had received no complaints. He should receive the complaints. There must be an initiative of get the customer and get the assessment. The balance scorecard will help them, because the balance scorecard will help them or push them to have maybe a questionnaire, which they'll be giving to the customers. So we're going to have an increased number of performance indicators under the customer. So what they have is not adequate. What of internal perspective, are they even measuring this area?
No, not mentioned.
No, they are not. But how important is this area?
It's very key.
Why?
It's number one, it's even directly linked to those things that they are complaining about. If your processes are not right, then there's no way you'll be able to satisfy your customers.
That's the point.
And also, it's important because it determines what the business should achieve. So, what is important for the business for it to succeed, to meet its objective?
All the things that the customers, all that are supposed to do for the customers comes from the internal processes. So if the internal processes, for instance, here, the place is dirty, it's not clean.
Yeah.
Not clean. What does that show? It's internal processes, because we should have the way of knowing are the coaches clean. What's the state of the bathrooms? So the complaints from the customers is simply indicating that there's something wrong with the processes, but they're not currently measuring or monitoring the processes. So our argument is that if they introduce a balanced scorecard, they're going to have performance measures under internal processes, and that will help them a lot. And they give examples. What of innovation? How would the company benefit by in this area of learning and innovation?
Nothing was mentioned. So you want to go further?
So in innovation and learning, they're not doing much. For instance, we've got the issue of the menu. They're not innovative on the menu, isn't it?
Yes.
What of the internet?
Yeah, that's there too.
What of the trains that they're using? What trains are the competitors using?
Diesel powered train.
And the competitors?
They are using electrical.
That tells us that they're supposed to be thinking about the future. Are they doing anything about that? So you see, this question, when you break it down, it becomes, the problem is just, you must just be careful with how much you write. That's the only danger now, isn't it? The danger is you can have too much to write.
Be writing, and you'll be writing nonsense.
No, now you'll be writing good now because you have discussed now. Now, because another way, if somebody says, Mr. P, me, in answering this question, which some people did, they just wrote the 4 headings. The balance scorecard has got 4 headings, okay? And now I'm going to explain how the company will benefit by having each one of these headings. Just that. Then just go to each heading now. You start explaining how the company will benefit. That's it.
In each heading.
In each heading.
Just putting a few points and not writing too long sentences.
So, sir.
Okay.
So, what we are saying in essence is that the structure of the answer should be to introduce the concept of balance scorecard.
Yes.
Then, are we also going to talk about the benefit, the internal, external, financial, non-financial?
You can put a brief paragraph explaining this, just one paragraph.
No paragraph. Okay. Then we now go to
short one.
we now go to the 4 perspectives.
Go to the 4 perspectives.
Okay.
That one is a 10 out of 10 answer.
Okay, that's all. Okay.
Okay. Keep your paragraphs short, Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep our paragraphs short, eh?
Okay, sir.
Let's find a way of breaking those paragraphs. If you ever start seeing a paragraph going on and on, break it down, break it.
Okay, sir.
And like when you do a full paper, you notice that if you spend more time on a particular paragraph, there's a paragraph somewhere else which is suffering, or there's a question suffering. So we want to have a well-structured answer, not going very far, because whoever goes far, won't just finish the paper. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, right.
I will not even be telling you that you wrote too much. You yourself, you're going to find that you wrote too much because you find that one question is undone. Good.
Okay.
Let's come to another part of our question. This one was a nice one. This one was a nice one. Using the performance data given, evaluate the comments of the dealer and government that soups trains are overcrowded. Now, it's important to look at the specific comment.
Hello, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yes, please.
So in this question, the question was directed to how we can use it to help performance management. And like you said, the other question could be that how could we use it to improve performance?
We can band them into one question. Because
so what if the question has been
if your performance management system is improved, you've got a good performance management system, what will happen to your performance?
It will improve, definitely.
It's somehow related.
Okay. So that means the answer for both could be like almost the same.
Yes.
Okay. Because I thought about it and I said I need to clarify. Thank you, sir.
Good. Where is the complaint of the government now? The government is something. The government has warned this SOOP is unhappy about high returns to shareholders and their main reports of poor passenger service, overcrowded trains and unreliable service, on certain routes at busy times. It's important to notice what the government is specifically saying. One, they are unhappy about high returns to shareholders. While there are many reports of poor passenger service, overcrowded trains, and unreliable services on certain routes at busy times. So we need to evaluate this statement. Is it true or not? Is it 100% correct? Or is only correct to some extent?
So this is where we needed to answer if it's true or false.
Yes.
Okay.
What extent is it true? Is it complete? Is it 100% correct or not? So you need to be very careful not to lose 1 or 2 marks by not commenting also on other possibilities. Now, the figures that were there, I think a number of us were able to interpret them correctly. I don't think we had a challenge here. It's just a presentation. You know, you're management accountants, eh? Although we say performance management, but you people, the discipline you are coming from is management accountants. One of the strengths of a management accountant, one of the strengths of a management accountant is the presentation of information. A management accountant is supposed to present information in a very, very effective way. So what we're supposed to do was to have a small little table or to find a way of presenting information so that you can understand. So this is the number of passengers. You want to compare this against how many seats are available. That's simple. How many seats are available in region A? How many seats are available?
190.
How many coaches are there? Is it 70? The capacity 70?
Yeah, 70 by 7.
Multiply by 7. That gives us how much?
490.
490. 490. How many trips are these? Number of trips? Number of services, number of services per day, peak times 4 and other times. Okay. Number of passengers per day, peak times. So then how many seats are these here? Peak times. Oh, out of the 25, you all did the computation.
But for me, I'm even afraid to answer because you said, did you have an answer plan? So I know my answer plan was bad.
You had, but you had the numbers. So give me the number here.
Yes, the numbers. Okay. So in region A, I said 490 times 4, which is 1,960 in peak time.
So that is the number of seats available against 25 passengers. What of here? So you see how we could have presented. That's what we are doing here. 196 out of the 25 times 100. What of here? How many seats are available?
I said 7 times 70. Okay, I got 2,940.
Yes.
Is that right?
It's just 6 multiplied by 490.
Yes.
Which is 2.
Yes. 2,940.
So we have got more seats here. What of there? How many seats?
Am I the only one here today?
Maybe it's connectivity for other people. Maybe your internet is very powerful. What of here?
Uh,
There are 6 here.
I say 1,000.
Multiply by
Oh, 1,000. Okay. So I used, what did I do now? Even I can't understand what I wrote.
7.
Imagine the
7
exam.
times is 420. 420
Mhm.
multiplied by 4.
1,680.
1680.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What of here? How much is available? Multiply by 8.
3,360.
2,000.
3,360.
3,360.
Sure.
So something like that could have done. 1960.
And then you compare it with 2,500.
Yeah. So here what we are saying is that we don't have adequate seats. So there was a
Yes.
peak time in route A. We didn't have enough seats. So is it true? Is the complaint true? Not 100% true, because our analysis shows that out of the 4 situations, it's only one where we have overcrowding. So to some extent, in 3 of the situations, there is no evidence of overcrowding. However, we saw that in one situation, there is. Now, a number of us have been into, like you people from Joburg, they have got that how train. The how train. What happens at 17 hours at 5 o'clock?
It will be busy. Some people, they can't find seats and
To be overcrowded.
Mhm.
So our comment will be that to start with, our evaluation has shown that it's not all the times. However, it could be true, because that observation could be at what time? At peak time.
Peak times.
So it could be true that at peak times. And also, it could come from probably those, if I'm doing a very short trip, I may not complain so much, but also it could be from those who are doing longer trips. Maybe those are the ones who are complaining. So in your answer, you are supposed to talk on both sides. To an extent, the government could be right because there's one situation where there is possible overcrowding, but also it could be that at peak times, generally, the service is poor. Okay, on the other hand, 3 out of the 4 situations show that there's no overcrowding. Is that okay?
Yes.
Again, how many marks were offered here? How many marks were offered here? 7. You cannot go on and on, no. It's only 7 marks. But no matter how much time you spend, only 7 marks, the marks that you can get. So a small table showing this comparison would have worked well. Okay. What are the problems? Now here is a free for all questions. What are the problems in selecting measures? What are the problems?
Some objectives may clash with one another.
Yes, so conflicting measures. There may be a conflict. For instance, when you transport business, occupancy rate is very important. If anything, you want 100% occupancy, then you make more money, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this now will affect what? The quality of the service.
Mm.
So need to be very careful with that. Another one.
I think choosing the best measures, like there's likely to be overload of the choice of measures to pick the best ones to use.
Let us break down the point. You've got a lot of points there, which you are covering. So you run out of points. Let's break down the points. Choice of measures for some perspectives is not easy. It's not easy to come up with measures for some perspective. But also, we have talked about it, information overload.
Okay.
That's a different one.
Okay.
Another one.
In terms of customer perspective, it may be complicated to get some sort of information from customers.
Collection and interpretation.
And then we're talking about interpretation of qualitative data.
Oh, so it's another different. Okay.
But already we've gone more than what we need.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
The collection of information. Yeah, I wanted to relate it to the question. Which is selection and interpretation.
It's a new, so balance scorecard will be new.
Okay.
It's a new invention. So you need to now to find a way of collecting the information to fill up the balance scorecard. And that can be quite a challenge. Because you don't have this information. You need to start collecting it. You see where you're coming from, eh? Like on customers, like example given, we need to start talking to customers. How are they feeling? Do you give them a questionnaire? Are you going to interview them? Are you going to use suggestion box? How do you collect the information? Okay, so
yeah, so how you collect information, of course, definitely it's not about interpretation. So is it about selection? So I'm seeing how it would really relate to the selection and interpretation of balance scorecard. Because we already have stress of measures. How do you choose out of many measures? Because of the fact that it's new. So how do we choose those measures to put in each perspective? So if we now have collection of information, how do we explain it to suit selection? Because of course, it's not interpretation.
Assess a problem SWOOP may encounter in selecting and interpreting. Okay. So to start with, before you can even select, I'm picking what you have said, you need to collect information. Have you collected adequate information? What type of information have you collected? Because first of all, this must take place. You have appropriate information so that you can now get your measures from there.
Okay.
So without this, that will be very complicated. This question always comes. In a future test, you get it again because it's a common question. Okay, so that was one of the questions that people basically, I think the performance was not bad. To get half of the marks everywhere, to get 6 out of 10 there, to get 4 out of 7 there, get 4 out of 8 there, 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 4, that's 14 already. When you get 14 out of 25 in the exam, that's very good. That's very good. So most of you did well on this question. Let's come to the problematic one now.